Michelle Bishop of NDRN, and Matt Beeson of ES&S in an expo hall.
Hi, everyone, and welcome back to PAVA IRL. This week, we're actually at the National Association of Secretaries of State and National Association of State Election Directors Conference, where a ton of voting equipment manufacturers are here showing off their newest products and some of their accessibility features. I'm actually with ES&S right now, one of the giants in the elections world, and we're going to take a look at the ExpressVote today. So tell us a little bit more about ES&S.
Well, Election Systems and Software, we're headquartered in Omaha, Nebraska. We're the largest manufacturer of voting equipment in the United States. We have over 450 employees, and we have the best product line of voting equipment in the world.
And Mac, what's your role at ES&S?
I am Vice President of Sales for the Central Region. So there's 18 states that I'm responsible for, and we have 8 sales reps in those states.
So we're going to take a look at the ExpressVote today. I hear rumor that this is a leaps and bounds accessibility-wise ahead of your older technology. Is that something you were really focusing on this time around? And where are you looking to go next?
Absolutely. The ExpressVote is by far we feel it's the best system in the industry for voters with disabilities. We took feedback from voters with disabilities in building this product, and we would love to, as we continue improving on the ExpressVote and building more voting systems, we would like as much feedback as we can get from the disabilities community. And feel free to reach out to us on our website, essvote.com, and click on the contact button. And if you have some feedback for us, we'd love to hear it.
Great. Well, let's take a look at the ExpressVote.
Okay.
Pause. Sorry, just testing out my new pause feature. You'll be seeing this again because this video touches on a couple key issues I want you to pay attention to. Okay, you can, restart the video.
Okay, so we'll start now with our ExpressVote ballot marker, universal voting device.
Pause. That was important. Security advocates that want hand-marked paper ballots for non-disabled voters are fighting for it tooth and nail, but ES&S is clear that they intend for their system to be universal. It should be used by all voters and not force voters with disabilities to use a segregated voting system. A couple key states like Georgia and Pennsylvania are considering doing this very thing right now, so make sure you know what's happening in your neck of the woods. Proceed.
Again, it's a universal voting device. It is for all voters, regardless of disability. And we start by activating the voting session with a blank piece of paper. It loads the ballot style for the voter. For the sighted voters, you can see the screen. You can zoom in on the text. You can turn the contrast off the screen if you need be. Every unit comes with a keypad here. You can walk through these selections with the keypad. For the non-sighted voters that just want to listen to an audio ballot, you can turn the screen dark. You can certainly bring your own headphones. Each machine also has a set of headphones as well. You can use the rocker paddle or sip and puff device with the system. But we'll go through and demonstrate on the camera here how this functions. This is a contest for favorite dog breed. It's a vote for one. It won't allow you to overvote. We'll make our selection here. We hit the next to go to the next contest. This is another vote for one, favorite U.S. beach. I'll pick Daytona here. We get to the next screen, which is a vote for not more than 2. And I'm going to make 2 selections here. This next one's just a yes or no question. We have one more yes or no question. And then finally we have a review screen. From this review screen, you can verify that you have made all the selections you would like. You can certainly go back into that contest and make a change if you like. But once you've made your selections, you go to the next screen. This machine does not store any votes. It's not an electronic voting machine. It is a ballot marking device. Once you've made your selections and you're happy with the review screen, you say print the card. And when it's in the mode that we're showing now as a ballot marking device, it takes your selections, prints them on a card, and it's going to be presented back to the voter. For a sighted voter, they can review their choices on the card and verify that it matches what they indicated. If they selected something or they decide they want to change their mind, this card can be turned back in and a new card could be provided to the voter as well. For a non-sighted voter, they can insert the card back into the ExpressVote. Again, this doesn't store anything. It doesn't bring up your last selections. It literally reads the card that was just inserted back into the unit, and it shows your selections again, or it would read those selections via audio with the headphones. It's then presented back to the voter, and it's taken over to our scanner, and it's scanned into the DS200 scanner. The card can go in any orientation. As when the card's inserted into the scanner, it takes a digital image of the ballot. It takes about 2 seconds, and then it's dropped into a secure bin.
So if I can't insert and take out the sheet of paper myself, is there any way the poll worker can assist me that'll still guarantee my privacy as a voter?
Absolutely, yes. So if you're not able to do that, you could have the poll worker insert the card. When they load the card, they would then step away from the machine. So you don't physically, they could load the card, you don't physically have to do it yourself. And the poll worker then would step away, and then the voter would either through the one of the tactile devices or with the keypad would make their selections, and the poll worker is not involved in any of that. The poll worker should have moved on from the voting machine at that time.
Okay. And I see here some full face ballots that look a little different. So I take it there is the option to hand mark ballots that can then be inserted into the ballot scanner. Is that a decision that an election authority is making as to how they want to implement the system? Because I did notice you referred to it as being a universal system that's intended for all voters.
That's correct. So we have several jurisdictions that in every single polling location, they have ExpressVote ballot markers, so they do not pre-print any of the ballots beforehand. And then we have several jurisdictions that pre-print paper ballots, and voters have the option of marking their ballot with a pen, or they can mark their ballot electronically with the screen as well, with the ExpressVote. And our scanner takes both of those.
Some of the things I noticed that I like about some of these ballots, this here actually is high contrast because there's really just black text on a white page. I noticed also it's a sans serif font, which is more accessible for people with disabilities. Can you change the size in which it's printed if they wanted to make these large prints so that they'd work for a larger number of voters?
Absolutely. We can change the font on that. We can make that larger. We can move those around in many different orientations and have various options for the font and size.
And from a design perspective, one of the things I like about the ballot that's actually printed by the ExpressVote is it looks like it's only showing me the selections that I made rather than all the choices, which we have some research to show is actually easier for voters to understand when they're verifying their ballots.
Absolutely. It's easier. It allows for a smaller unit, which makes it more portable to go to polling locations. It takes, it doesn't take ink and toner like some of the other systems in the market that use COTS printers. Those are a little bit more work for a poll worker to have to get to a polling place and have to change throughout the day with ink and toner. Ours is all included here. Again, it makes it a little more mobile. And then also in a recount situation, it is much easier to take a card and count what was selected versus having to look through a full ballot and determine what was intended by the voter.
I also see an input here that has a universal disability logo on it. It looks like I can plug in my own assistive technology to that.
That's
Perhaps
correct.
if I am quadriplegic and I use a sip and puff.
The sip and puff and the rocker paddle are two options that work with that as well, yes.
Great, let's take a look at some of the other equipment.
Okay, let's do that. All right, now we'll talk a little bit about our ExpressVote as a tabulator. Earlier we talked about the ExpressVote as a ballot marking device, and the ExpressVote as a ballot marker marks a ballot which goes into a scanner. That the ExpressVote as a tabulator, we have the scanner built into the ExpressVote, so there's not a separate station to take the ballot in and scan the ballot. And I'll go ahead and start by same way as we showed before. You insert the card into the ExpressVote to activate your contesting candidates. Make your selections. This unit also has the keypad. Everything that we showed on the ballot marker is on this system as well. I'm going to go ahead and make my selections here. I'm going to get to my review screen. Yeah, I'll make a change here. But the big difference with this system, with the tabulator, once I'm happy with my selections here and I say next, instead of say print card like the ballot marking mode provided, this one says cast vote. And this can be set up in two ways. It can present the card back to the voter, and for a sighted voter, they could look at the card, put it back in the machine, and it scans it. Or in the way we have it set up today, you say cast a vote. It is actually taking your selections that you marked on the screen, and it is printing those on the card, and the card is going to fall into the secure ballot box. And it says thank you for voting.
Pause. Okay, one more thing. Voting systems that can also tabulate the ballots are far more accessible because they don't require the voter or an assistant to handle the marked ballot. They are, however, controversial. Security advocates want different machines for marking the ballot versus tabulating the ballots. Also, if use of this machine is restricted to only voters with disabilities, their ballots would be separated out from other voters. Although, as we learned, ES&S intends for all voters to use the ballot marking device. All right, go ahead.
So again, it works exactly the same as ExpressVote as a ballot marker, but the ballot marker requires the ballot to be taken to a separate scanner to be tabulated. In this mode, it prints the card, scans the card, and inserts it into a bin without the voter having to go to a separate machine to tabulate. So now we'll take a look at our ExpressVote XL. So we've talked about the ExpressVote as a ballot marking device, the ExpressVote as a tabulator, and now our ExpressVote XL. Again, these are all ballot marking solutions, so this is a process in which the voter will make their selections and mark it on a paper ballot. The difference with the XL, you see we have a much larger screen. There are certain states that require all contesting candidates the full ballot to be viewed at one time. So with our other versions, the ExpressVote as a ballot marker and ExpressVote as a tabulator, you were typically looking at one contest at a time on the screen. With the XL, you're seeing the entire ballot on one screen. Again, you make your selections. One lane to overvote. Have the vote for 2 here. You got your proposals for your propositions over here. And then when you're finished, you say print ballot. And so works like the other units, but now you have all your contesting candidates on one screen. The voter can actually, a sighted voter can review their selections here. And if they're happy with their selections, they can cast that. That ballot is stored in the secure ballot box.
Well, we have one last piece of equipment to show you. And before you ask, yes, we are indeed wearing different clothing. It's because it's actually day 2 here at the NASED conference. And I just couldn't get over the DS450 when I first met it yesterday. I don't know about you all, but in my mind, when mail-in ballots are coming in to your county clerks and your elections board offices, someone who also answers the phone and receives faxes is opening up all these ballots and they're actually counting them by hand. And that's actually not the case, which makes a whole lot of sense if you think about it. So please tell us about the DS450.
Absolutely. So this is our latest version of Central absentee mail ballot scanner, and basically it has 3 outstack trays. The elections official will put the ballots onto the tray, basically hit the start button, and it processes these ballots whether they're folded or flat. These typically come in by mail, and the ballots that are counted go into our process tray. If they require some attention, maybe it's a write-in ballot, or we have a ballot that's been overvoted, then they're put into the outstack trays. Once it completes the process, the election official typically takes the counted ballots and puts them in a location, and then the ballots that require additional attention have been sorted out. It allows them to keep moving through the process and tabulate these ballots in a very quick fashion.
Thanks so much. I look forward to the next version of this, which I'm assuming we'll be able to sort and fold my laundry. Anyway, thank you so much for taking all the time to work with us these past couple days. We really appreciate it, and I'm sure you'll be hearing from our viewers.
All right, and thank you for taking the time to look at our latest voting technology.